I still remember the way he looked at me that night, like I was the only person in the room, like every sound had faded just to make space for that one glance. It was a Thursday evening, early autumn, the kind of night when the city hums softly and people hurry home with coffee cups and tired faces. I had stopped by a small cafe after work, one of those cozy places tucked between tall glass offices. He was sitting by the window, reading something on his phone, his jacket folded neatly beside him. When our eyes met, it wasn't cinematic or dramatic, but something quiet, something that lingered. He smiled, I smiled back, and before I knew it, we were talking as if we had met before. He told me his name was Daniel, that he worked in advertising, that he hated small talk, but somehow didn't mind talking to me. There was this immediate ease, a spark that didn't feel forced. He was funny without trying, confident without arrogance. He asked for my number before I even finished my coffee, and when I got home, I already had a message waiting. You made my Thursday better. It had been months since someone had made me feel seen like that. I was 26, building a career, busy pretending that I didn't care about love anymore, but deep down I wanted connection. When he texted, I smiled before I even read what he wrote. When he called, I found myself pacing around my apartment, heart beating faster than I wanted to admit. The next weekend, he took me to a rooftop bar overlooking the city. We talked for hours, and every story he told pulled me closer. He asked questions that felt like he genuinely wanted to know me, not just impress me. I remember thinking, maybe this time it's real. I didn't want to rush, but it felt like the universe had finally decided to give me something good. Weeks turned into months, and soon his presence became part of my everyday rhythm. Morning texts, goodnight calls, spontaneous lunches, surprise coffees at my office door. He had this way of making everything feel easy. We laughed a lot, argued a little, planned imaginary trips we might take one day. When I caught a cold, he showed up with soup and medicine, pretending to be my personal nurse. My friends liked him. My mother said my voice sounded softer when I spoke about him. For the first time in years, I stopped checking my phone during dinner or overanalyzing every word someone said. With him, everything just flowed. I remember one night in particular. We were walking by the river, city lights reflecting on the water, and he said, I think you're the one. I laughed nervously, pretending not to take it seriously, but inside I froze. Not out of fear, but because I wanted to believe it so badly. Don't say things you don't mean, I whispered. He looked straight at me, his eyes calm, sincere, and said, I mean it. That night I fell asleep with his arm around me, thinking how lucky I was to have met someone like him in such a big, cold city. Slowly, I started trusting him with more of me, my insecurities, my childhood stories, my fears. I told him about my father leaving when I was little, how I had learned to expect people to disappear. He held me closer and said, I'm not like that. I wanted to believe him. And I did. I started planning a future in my head, not wedding bells or forever promises, but simple things, cooking together, weekend trips, lazy Sundays. I imagined introducing him to my friends at New Year's, maybe even inviting him to meet my family. He was becoming part of my picture of home, and I didn't even realize it. And then, one morning, everything changed. I woke up and sent him a good morning text. No reply. I didn't think much of it at first. Maybe he was busy, maybe he overslept. By noon, I called him. The call went to voicemail. That small uneasy feeling in my stomach started to grow. By evening, it turned into panic. I sent another message. Hey, is everything okay? Still nothing. One day passed, then two. His social media went silent. His phone stopped ringing altogether. I told myself there had to be an explanation, an emergency, a lost phone, something. But deep down, I already knew. Something inside me recognized that quiet too well. He had vanished. No goodbye, no reason, not even an excuse. Just gone. The first week felt like living underwater. Every sound was muffled, every thought heavy. I kept checking my phone, expecting his name to pop up. It never did. My friends tried to comfort me, said things like, maybe he's dealing with something, or he'll come back, they always do. But he didn't. I scrolled through our old messages, reread his words, "You're the one." Each line felt like a ghost haunting me. I searched for closure that didn't exist, went by the cafe where we met, walked by the river where he held my hand, even checked the rooftop bar, hoping maybe I'd see him there again. Nothing. It was like he had never existed. The city felt different after that. Colder, louder, emptier. Nights stretched long and quiet. I stopped answering calls, stopped caring about work, started doubting myself. What did I do wrong? Was it something I said? Did I imagine the whole thing? I replayed every detail, every word, trying to find the moment it all slipped away. There wasn't one. It was as if one day he was real, and the next day he was a memory I wasn't ready to have. It took months before I stopped waiting for him. Grief comes quietly when the person you lost is still out there somewhere, choosing not to be found. At first, I kept hoping. Maybe he'll call, maybe he'll explain, maybe there was some tragic misunderstanding. But no message came, no apology, no reason, just silence. In that silence, I had to face something uncomfortable. Sometimes you never get closure. Sometimes people disappear because that's who they are, not because of who you are. The hardest part wasn't losing him. It was losing the version of myself I had become when I believed in us. I missed her, the girl who smiled at her phone, who trusted, who felt safe. Slowly, I started rebuilding. I went back to my favorite cafe, sat by the window alone, ordered the same coffee I had the night we met. This time, I didn't look around expecting to see him. I watched the city instead. The endless flow of people, the way life keeps moving even when your world stands still. One afternoon, I ran into a friend who hadn't seen me in months. She said, "You look peaceful." And I realized I was. Not happy, not yet, but peaceful. There's a quiet kind of strength that comes when you stop asking why and start saying, it's okay. I learned that not every story needs a return. Not every love ends with closure. Some endings are simply the absence of a next chapter. Now, when I think of him, it doesn't hurt like before. It's just a memory, a brief intersection of two lives that were never meant to last. He said I was the one, and for a moment, I believed it. Maybe he believed it too. But sometimes believing isn't enough. People come into your life to show you something, and when their part is over, they leave, even if you never understand why. I still walk by that river sometimes, the same one where he told me I was the one. I look at the water and think about how everything flows, how nothing stays still. And maybe that's the point. Some people are like rivers. They pass through your life, they touch you, they change you, and then they keep moving. I've stopped trying to hold the current. I've stopped waiting for someone who chose to disappear. Because the truth is, I didn't lose him. I found myself. Have you ever had someone disappear without saying goodbye? What would you say to them now if you could?